What's good, everybody? It is time to go over NXT's Stand and Deliver with the Snug Wrestling Podcast. My name is Edgar. I'm the host. Our NXT expert, Mr. Tommy, is here. Tommy, welcome. How are you feeling after seeing this episode of Stand and Deliver?
You tell me. I went 6-1, bro.
Did you?
I
You went
got
6-1
one
on.
wrong. Yeah, on the predictions. The only one I got wrong is the opening match. Other than that, I went 6-1. So I'm
Yeah.
feeling good about tonight. It felt real good with that.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, Tommy. So it sounds like you really enjoyed the show then overall.
Oh yeah, I really did. We got some title changes out of it, some retentions that God I was hoping for, even though some of them I hated who retained, but it ended up working out.
We crowned, well, I say we, the WWE NXT crowned a new women's NXT champion and a new NXT champion. Joe Hendry lost the title in the main event, which we'll get into. But yeah, man, Stand and Deliver. This is supposed to be the biggest show for NXT. But to me, I got to be honest, it didn't feel like it. I feel like I've seen other NXT PLEs that just felt bigger than this, that just felt like the matches were a little bit better. This, I don't know, man. For the biggest show of the year, did you feel like this was like, you know, a big deal?
I feel like it had some problems here and there, but we did end up making history with the opening match with the women's NXT title. So there's that as well.
What? Let me guess. The history that they made was how many times can they black out a screen during one match? Because it was like fucking 50, it felt like.
Yeah, I was wondering what the hell was up with that, but that is not the history that was made. It was made with Lola Vice.
Well, we'll get into it because first I got to point out that it took me a minute to find Stand and Deliver because it wasn't on Peacock. And then I checked on Netflix on the VPN, international Netflix, like 30 minutes before the hour, and it wasn't on there either. And then I just realized, like right before the show, that it was going to air on YouTube, like for everyone for free. Did you already, like know this ahead of time already?
Yeah, they announced that on Tuesday, bro.
Okay, I must have missed it then, because yeah, I was like, holy shit, we're getting a PLE on free YouTube. That's what's up. Yeah, so more of that, please. That was lovely. It was easy to find, easy to watch, all that good stuff.
I think the Peacock deal in general is like finally ending, which is why they switched over to YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah, there's only I think Saturday night's main event and maybe a couple other things are on Peacock as of right now.
Because NXT was on there for a while.
Yeah. It's not anymore. So yeah, I got a late pass on that. I didn't realize that until today. I don't realize these things until it's time to actually figure it out or confront them, like the day of that I have to watch Stand and Deliver, I'm like fucking scraping last minute to find it and shit. I got to be better about that. But all right, Tommy, the opening match. Well, first we got to talk about Shawn Michaels because I was really pumped for Stand and Deliver. We did our predictions. We've been watching NXT. I was excited for some of the matches, not all of them. Shawn Michaels music hits, and now I'm feeling it. Now I'm in a great mood. Oh, we're going to see Shawn Michaels. And Shawn Michaels brings out Sexy Red. And when Sexy Red is walking down the ramp, the announcers say they're basically plugging her new album. So that's why she was there. They're in St. Louis advertising her Sexy Red's new album. She said like three words. And that was it. It was very quick, in and out. She basically just went out there to say hello, and that was it. So I wasn't too mad at that. I was like, oh my God, I wonder what, they're going to give her a whole ass performance or something. But no, she was in, she was out, and on to the next.
She was in, she was out, and then there also was some backstage segments that she was a part of. And that's it. That's all we got out of Sexy Red. And honestly, I am so happy about that because I really did not want a full-on performance from her ass. No.
Yeah, I think the WWE learned their lesson with her last time. Because, yes, she's a famous rapper, she's a famous artist, but I don't think she's very I guess for the WWE product, I don't think she really fits in there a lot. Like her charisma is way off the charts. So they were like, yeah, let's not give her too much to say. Let's just show her around a little bit and let's move on, is what it felt like.
There are some musicians that fit, like Jelly Roll and a few others, and then there are just some that don't.
Yeah.
Sexy Red is absolutely on that list of names that don't.
Yeah. Yeah, I still don't understand that relationship, Sexy Red with WWE. That's pretty wild, but
it makes no sense to me at all.
Yeah. All right. They started off hot. They started off with the Women's NXT Championship triple threat match. Jacy, Jayne, Kendal Gray, and Lola Vice, right? And it's a triple threat match. But I was hopeful, I went in this thing kind of expecting a new champion, right? That's what we said in the predictions. I wanted to see a new champion because I just felt like it was time, So that's what I was kind of looking forward to. All right, what's gonna happen, right? And then there was a few things that threw me out of this match. Just overthinking the build-up, overthinking how this whole thing got put together. I just didn't really feel like it was really necessary to do a triple threat match, but they did it. And then during the match, the screen kept blacking out. Like literally, not exaggerating, at least 7 or 8 times during the match for long periods of time, for like sometimes 5 seconds straight. And I'm just like, okay, someone's having a wardrobe malfunction, a really, really bad one. And it was Jacy Jayne. And it sucks, I know shit like this happens a lot, but it just sucks because you're trying to watch the match, you're trying to get into it, and then the screen just randomly gets blacked out over and over again. So that was annoying. But yeah, at the end of the match, things picked up and we got a new champion. Lola Vice did it finally. And now she has 2 championships, I believe, right?
Yes, she has the mixed tag with Mr. Iguana in AAA. And now she is your new women's NXT champion.
Mm-hmm.
And I regret not sticking with my guns. I really do. Because I said it when we did the predictions. I wanted to say Lola Vice so much. But at the same time, I wanted her pulled up to the main roster. But she is now our women's NXT champion. And right when that happened, I'm like, well, 0-1 right off the bat. But it's Lola Vice. I do absolutely regret not going with Lola here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it makes sense. Lola Vice to win it. And I'm curious because she still has that mixed tag team championship. She's going to have to go to AAA. I wonder if this was part of the reason why they put the belt on Lola Vice, so we might see the women's NXT championship over on AAA. What do you think?
I'm hoping we do, especially with the fact that that AAA mixed tag title has been shown on NXT week after week with Lola Vice holding it. So hopefully that means the NXT title will be shown on AAA.
And vice versa too. What are the chances of some of the women from AAA coming over to NXT now?
I'm hoping so because I'm honestly not too familiar with AAA. I don't really watch it that much as you do. But
Mm-hmm.
I would be very interested to see some AAA girls just hop on to NXT for a bit.
Yeah. Overall, I think it's a very interesting choice to put this championship on Lola Vice. Um, she's had some pretty good matches with some women on NXT. So we'll see. We'll see who Lola Vice faces first, who her first title defense is going to be. Who have we seen Lola Vice have some confrontations with, like Kaylani Jordan, Jada Parker, maybe?
I'm hoping so. But now we have our first Cuban American NXT Women's Champion.
Oh, that's the history that you're referring to earlier.
Yeah. Yeah. She is the first Cuban American woman to win the NXT title.
Are you sure she's Cuban? She's not like Puerto Rican or something? I could have sworn she was something else.
No, that's what Lola Vice has even been saying is Cuban American.
Oh, okay. All right. Sounds good. So yeah, that's what started off Stand and Deliver, new women's NXT champion. And then we go to the NXT Tag Team Championship match, Los Americanos versus the Vanity Project, Tommy's favorite tag team of the whole world.
No, the
And
hell it's
kind of
not.
like we expected, both of these teams were trying to cheat to win. And the Vanity Project got the win after Los Americanos did everything they could to put away the Vanity Project. And I felt like Los Americanos were wrestling goddamn fucking Hulk Hogan and fucking Brock Lesnar here in the Vanity Project, because no matter what the Americanos did, Vanity Project was kicking out of everything. Like, goddamn, I'm like, they made the Vanity Project look really fucking strong here, like a lot.
Especially with that ending where that piece of metal was going all over the place.
Yeah, Los Americanos tried to do their gimmick where they put the metal plate inside their mask, and then somehow the Vanity Project got a hold of it. Then they were trying to use it. Then the Grande Americano tried to use it, and it was just like being passed around throughout this whole entire match. But yeah, this was crazy. It was a crazy match, but man, like they're really trying to put over these guys, the Vanity Project. And even Booker T said it. This is the future of the business. These guys are going to be running things 20 years from now, and it's like, ugh, don't put that out there, Booker T.
Please don't, Booker. Come on. Not to mention, the real question is, will they even be in WWE in 20 years because of the fact that they'll be in their 40s?
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, were you shocked by this, Tommy? What did you think of the match? Anything that stood out to you about this tag team match other than the Vanity Project winning?
I was not really surprised about it because, like I said in our predictions, it only worked for the NXT tag titles to stay on NXT. I would get it when it comes to giving it to Los Americanos to kind of show it off in AAA, but let's be honest here, they probably would not show them off in AAA. They probably wouldn't have. So it only fit for the tag titles to stay on NXT. Now, hopefully, here's what I hope happens, because I would not mind another tag title run from these guys. Put it back on Hank and Tank. Please. I would love to see another Hank and Tank tag title run.
Yeah, man. I think this is the first title defense from the Vanity Project, right? I have a feeling we're going to be seeing a very, very lengthy tag team title run with these guys, Tommy. So strap in for that.
Oh, God, no.
Yeah. All right. This next match I was really looking forward to, Zaria versus Ruca. And yeah, this was a intense feud. There's been a long buildup for this. I like Zaria a lot. And I was expecting, I guess I was expecting something a little bit more different. I was expecting more of I don't know, more like a fight feel instead of like a wrestling match. Cuz I feel like for what this was, I felt like it was a little bit too fancy. They were trying to be too fancy with it. Um yeah, there was some like elements there that kind of made it feel like a grudge match, but nah, I thought it was gonna be more intense. I guess more hard hitting, but they just had uh they just had a wrestling match. It felt like it didn't really feel like a intense feud, if that makes sense. But Ruca ended up winning this thing. I'm sure you were pretty happy about that, Tommy. What did you think?
Yeah, especially with the fact that I was the only one who said it.
You
You
should have
went
bet me.
Zaria.
You should have bet me.
Toxic went Zaria. Like, I was the only one who full blown said that Ruca was going to have it. I was going back and forth between the two when we did predictions, but my soul was still on Ruca. I would have let that girl snatch my soul if she lost. So, here we are. Ruca's on top. So, I'm super, super happy about that because the more I read the comments on that video, the more I thought, yeah, maybe y'all are right here that Zaria kind of needs it more. But at the same time, here, let's be honest, this match is not going to be the only match that these two have. It's just not. This is going to be the first of many matches that these two have. So I'm super interested to see how far these two actually go and how long this feud goes.
Okay. Um. All right. The North American Championship. Good old Johnny Gargano versus Myles Borne. And did you hear, Tommy? The fans were cheering for Johnny Gargano the whole time. And I'm thinking, why? Well, I know why. He's coming back to NXT, and the NXT fans love Johnny Gargano. But I'm like, the guy that we're trying to get over, that they're trying to push, is Myles Borne, not Johnny Gargano. So everyone wanted to see Johnny Gargano beat Myles Borne, who just won the title. And I felt like this during some of the other matches too, where the crowd was split. The same thing with Ruca and Zaria. The crowd was split. Some people wanted to see Zaria win. So other people wanted to see Ruca. Fine, whatever. But the same thing happened here with Johnny Gargano and Myles Borne, and I'm just like, the whole point is to get Myles Borne over. That's the guy we should be cheering for. So I didn't really feel like this match really did Myles Borne any favors, if I'm being honest. Especially with Johnny Gargano doing his goofy planking gimmick in the middle of the match. What did you think?
It really didn't do Myles Borne much. But at the same time, he can now say, hey, I beat Johnny Gargano, somebody who has held this title, this North American title, almost more times than anybody. If he beat Myles Borne, he would have been a 5-time, I'm pretty sure they said on commentary. Mm-hmm. So at the same time, that's what Myles Borne can say, that he truly did beat the one of absolutely one of the greatest North American champions of all time, and somebody who has held that title more times than anybody. So at that point, that alone is going to push Myles Borne.
Yeah, even Booker T said it. Oh, what a monumental moment for Myles Borne. He defeated the great Johnny Gargano. And I'm like, if this was such a monumental moment, why didn't anyone pop for it? Nobody cared. Everyone was just like, ugh, because they all wanted to see Johnny Gargano win and become Johnny Wrestling and be the NXT hero he was fucking 15 years ago or whatever the fuck. And it's just like, ugh. And then after the match, Dion Lennox attacks Myles Borne from behind with the steel chair. So at least we know where Myles Borne is heading to next. And I think a feud with Dion Lennox is going to be way more entertaining than this whole thing that they were doing with Johnny Gargano, if I'm being honest.
Oh, sorry. Keep going. I'm having fucking computer troubles over here.
Okay. Do you have any thoughts about Dion Lennox attacking Myles Borne?
I thought he was going to focus more on the NXT title, but that is not where he is going. He is going after the North American. He's going after Myles Borne. And honestly, I'd be so happy with that to have Dion Lennox go up against Myles Borne for that North American title. But I don't think he needs that North American title anytime soon, especially with the fact that later on in the show, there was this backstage segment with the rest of Dark State where basically Dark State as a whole said, hey, you look like you're doing this more for yourself than for the group. So at that point, I say let it happen, but Dion Lennox doesn't need the North American title.
I really liked that backstage segment, surprisingly, because most of the backstage segments on NXT are pretty cringe, but this one was pretty good. Like, what's his name? Sugars? What's his first name though? I can't remember his first name.
I cannot remember for the life of me what the hell his first name is. His
It's
last name is for sure Sugars, though.
Yeah, he has a ridiculous name. I really like him a lot. He feels like he's being himself. He feels real. He doesn't really feel like he's re- reciting lines or anything. He was like, "Hey, telling Dion Lennox, you're over here calling shots. You're not letting us know who you think you're the leader. That's not how we get down. That's not how we do things and shit like that. Yeah, Sugars is really cool, man. I like him a lot. And I like how he stepped up to Dion Lennox. Maybe this is the start of something. Maybe Dion Lennox is getting ready to start breaking away from the dark state.
The cracks are starting to form with it right now, and I would not mind just a regular singles run for Dion Lennox away from Dark State.
Yeah, dude. They're doing a really good job with Dion Lennox, man. Like, this is a guy that I can see him. I'm not going to say he's the future of the company, but I think he'll make a great like US champ or intercontinental champion at one point. That's how far I'll take it when it comes to Dion
Absolutely
Lennox.
could not agree more with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
maybe from
absolutely agree with that. There's no doubt about that.
yeah. And yeah, maybe by that time maybe he might be big enough to become a world champion one day, but Dion Lennox is really starting to grow on me a lot, if I'm being honest. All right, y'all. Now for the women's North American Championship. Tatum Paxley versus Blake Monroe. And this match was it was a one-on-one match for the championship, only at like a couple weeks build. Not a whole lot going on here, but it was a singles match. There was no gimmicks, there was no tables. Like for this type of build-up that kind of happened very last minute, I thought it was a pretty good match. You know, it didn't need to be anything crazy off the walls. And Tatum Paxley retained. She got her championship back, but I think this is just the beginning. I think definitely this feud is going to continue, especially after what we saw. Blake Monroe asking the Vanity Project for a favor. I'm pretty sure this is not the end of Blake Monroe going after Tatum Paxley. Also, keep in mind how long did Tatum Paxley feud with Izzy Dame. So I think we're just getting started with this program with Tatum Paxley and Blake Monroe.
She's absolutely going from one feud and directly into the next. Because that's exactly what this was. She finished off that feud with Izzy Dame. And then directly after that match is when Blake Monroe stole the North American title. Directly after. So she's just going right into it. And I'm with you that this is not going to be the only match that they have. There's no way that this is not going to become a legitimate feud for it. But at the same time, I don't think that Blake Monroe necessarily needs another North American title run. I really don't. So at this point, why is she going after the North American title when she did, in fact, definitively lose it to Thea Hill? She can say all she wants. Oh, I never lost that title. Yes, the hell you did, Blake. You lost that North American title to Thea Hill. That's it.
Yeah, I think it was because the way that Blake Monroe lost it, they had to pivot and change a lot of plans. So this kind of feels like Blake Monroe has a lot of unfinished business with the North American Championship. And maybe Blake Monroe doesn't need another North American Championship run, but Blake Monroe really elevates that division, that title. So if they put it back again on Blake Monroe at some point, which Tatum Paxley is a great North American champion, but after Tatum Paxley, I think Blake Monroe should be the next North American champion again and really let her show what she can do, what she was supposed to do in her first title reign. So I wouldn't be mad at that, man. I think this is a good start for Tatum Paxley and Blake Monroe. And I mean it can only get better from here, I hope.
We'll see on that one. I'm hoping it does as well, but overall, we'll have to see how this feud goes.
Yeah. All right, Tommy. Finally, we go to the main event. I'm like, God damn, I had to sit through all of this to get to the main event. This better be good. God damn it. Or I'm going to be pissed off, you know? This was really good, though. This main event made this whole show worth it. It was a fatal four-way match. So we started the show with a triple threat match. We ended with the fatal four-way. Joe Hendry, the champion, was defending versus Ethan Page, Ricky Saints, and Tony D'Angelo. And this match kind of started off as a tag team match. Both Ethan Page and Ricky Saints were working together. Tony D'Angelo and Joe Hendry had to defend themselves versus both Ricky and Ethan. But like we all expected, Ricky Saints and Ethan Page had to beat each other up at some point, right? This is a fatal four-way match. Everyone wants to win, every man for himself. What I didn't expect is that Ethan Page was the one that was going to take the first shot here. I thought it was going to be Ricky Saints to turn his back on Ethan Page first, but it was the other way around. And it was lovely, man. I popped huge when these two guys started fighting each other. It was entertaining. You know, they started arguing at first. No, I'm gonna pin him. No, I'm gonna pin him. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do I mean? I'm trying to win. I'm trying to win too. What are you doing? And it started building up more and more until Ethan Page said, fuck it. He saw an opportunity. He attacked Ricky Saints. And after that, just shit got crazy. They had a nice little table spot there. Tony D'Angelo's left alone in the ring with Joe Hendry. He takes advantage. Tony D'Angelo hits his finisher on Joe Hendry in the middle of the ring. 1, 2, 3, new NXT champion. Holy shit. Very short title reign by Joe Hendry. Was it not?
It was a pretty short title reign from Joe Hendry, but I don't think this is going to be the only title reign he has. It's either that or they quickly are ending his title reign because they want to pull him up.
That was my thought too. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Because I would not be surprised, especially with how his match was last WrestleMania with Randy Orton. I would not be surprised if they decide, hey, look, you've had your your NXT title run. That's basically what you need. Let's pull you up, see how this goes. So, honestly, I'd be happy with that. The biggest thing I even popped for, this has been, and I said this during the predictions, this is the one title that eluded good old Tony D'Angelo the entire time he's been in NXT. And he finally has it. He has completed mission number 2 when it comes to his return. Mission 1, take down Dark State. Mission 2, win the NXT championship. And that is exactly what he did tonight. I am so happy this man is NXT champion.
Yeah, the timing of this is pretty interesting. Just a couple weeks from WrestleMania, Joe Hendry loses the NXT championship. I don't know, man. I mean, there's been a lot of talks about a 6-man being added to Penta's Intercontinental Championship ladder match. You know, there's a lot of AAA fans that are hoping it's someone from AAA, maybe Hijo del Vikingo. But what if it's Joe Hendry?
I wouldn't mind that at all. Having Joe Hendry in another ladder match, you saw how he was when he won the North American title match off of that.
That's right.
So I would not mind having Joe Hendry in another ladder match for a title.
Right, yeah. Yeah, dude. It's going to be a whole new NXT moving forward with a new women's NXT champion. Tony D'Angelo's a champion. He's going to be such a good champion, Tony D'Angelo, man. That NXT championship is back home to a homegrown talent like Tony D'Angelo. Sorry, Joe Hendry. We love you, bro, but you're an outsider. So is Ethan Page and Ricky Saints. You're all outsiders. This was one of the matches.
The question is, who will be his first opponent?
Man, I would not want to run into Tony D'Angelo in an alley. I'm telling you, bro. That fool looks like a monster. I feel bad for whoever calls his shot versus Tony D'Angelo. Unless it's someone like...
I know that Keanu Carver has his stuff going on right now. But at the same time, you want to talk about, as Big E puts it, 2 big meaty men slapping meats? Tony D'Angelo and Keanu Carver.
That would be a NXT dream match for me right there, bro, if I'm being honest. Although I don't know if Keanu Carver is... I don't think he's there yet. I mean, based on the few matches that we've seen from him, I mean, it took Tony D'Angelo how long to be in this position? How many years?
It's so long.
Keanu Carver just got there. I don't think
Yeah.
Keanu Carver is at that level yet, although that would look cool on paper,
It's
Keanu
like he
Carver
doesn't
versus Tony.
necessarily have to win the North American title off. No, why the hell do I keep saying that? He doesn't have to win the NXT title off of Tony D'Angelo. He doesn't. But I still would not mind a match between Keanu Carver and Tony D'Angelo for that North American title and have Tony D'Angelo retain it.
No, yeah. Yeah, for sure. But whoever it is, whatever they're gonna do with Tony D'Angelo, I mean, my first guess would have been Dark State would probably come after Tony D'Angelo, especially now that he has the NXT championship. But the Dark State seem like they're pretty dead set on the North American title, maybe tag team
Yeah.
gold.
I mean, there are 4 of them, so maybe one of them can go after the NXT title. But the problem is the one man that I thought would be a massive threat for the NXT title is going after the North American.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure it's not going to be Ethan Page and Ricky Saints because I'm pretty sure they're going to start their own feud. So they're going to be focused on themselves, not so much the NXT championship, unless they're both still going to go after Tony D'Angelo, and then that turns from a fatal 4-way to a triple threat situation. But it's like we've already kind of seen
We've
that.
been there, done that with the NXT title at this point.
Yeah. So yeah, man. Whoever it is, I think it's gonna be somebody new. Somebody new for Tony D'Angelo.
The
So
2
we'll see.
men that I would not mind going toe to toe with Tony D is Josh Briggs or Keanu Carver.
Ugh, Josh
I would
Briggs.
not mind either of them.
Let me pull up the roster. 2026 NXT roster. Let's see who if any cool names stand out for Tony D'Angelo to face. Um Hey, you know what's crazy? Oh, okay. I see Johnny Gargano on here. Johnny Gargano's on the roster for NXT, and it says NXT slash SmackDown. So
What the
that
hell?
probably means, yeah, that probably means we're gonna see more of Johnny Gargano on
Huh.
NXT. Yeah. Mike Santana is also on the NXT roster. That's pretty interesting. He's from TNA, but he's on the NXT roster.
Huh. But
Yeah.
Mike Santana is literally currently TNA World Champion and signed with TNA.
Yeah. This isn't the official WWE website, so this could be wrong.
Okay, they're probably just naming a bunch of people who have been on NXT in the past, is my
Yeah.
guess.
Dude, the only name that really stands out to me is Shiloh Hill.
That's a third name that I honestly would not mind. Like the 3 that pop into my head, at least right now that you mention him, is Shiloh Hill, Josh Briggs, and Keanu Carver.
Yeah, because Shiloh Hill has been getting really pushed. He's getting a lot of attention.
He's the one who got the pin during the pre-show.
Yeah. So I could see that. I would really like Lexus King, but Lexus King would get destroyed by Tony D'Angelo,
I'm sorry, Lexus, but you would die, my friend.
Oh man. I'm I hate that I'm gonna say this, but I think Jackson Drake could be a good opponent just because he's a real dickish heel. And the
Oh,
people would love to
God.
see Tony D'Angelo beat him up.
If that happens, then he's just being fed to Tony D. Like, that's what's happening. That's going to be like a quick 3-minute match right there, and that's it.
Nah, man, not the way that these matches on NXT are put together. You hardly ever see quick squash matches on NXT, man. They always have really, really competitive matches, no matter who it is.
That
Like
should
the
not be
Vanity.
a competitive match, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that would just be a feast for Tony D'Angelo.
Yeah. So there, I hate to say it, but there's not a whole lot of people. If it's not Ricky Saints or Ethan Page, Tavion Heights, but he's kind of stuck in the speed division, and we haven't even seen him in a while. Yeah, hopefully
That's really
it's
why I named the 3 guys that I did, that being Shiloh, Briggs, and Carver.
yeah.
Like, those are the only 3 that I feel like would be a legitimate threat to the NXT title at this point.
Yeah, I think you're onto some. I think it's got to be Josh Briggs at some point. The much bigger Josh Briggs, I think, would be a good challenger for someone like Tony D'Angelo at this point. I think you're right. I think it has to be Josh Briggs. But we'll see. Yeah, man. Very interesting stuff. Do we know what's gonna happen next week on NXT?
We have next week 1-on-1 Sol Ruca versus Izzy Dame. And then we've got that triple threat as well with Josh Briggs, Keanu Carver, and why the hell can't I remember that third name?
Josh Briggs,
The
Keanu
other
Carver.
guy that Keanu went against last week.
Jasper Troy.
Yes, him.
Yeah.
But those 3 will be in that triple threat next week.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll be keeping a close eye on the fallout from Stand and Deliver. It's a new era on NXT, Tommy. We're entering a new era. But
oh God, I never want to hear those words again. With how much
You'll
Triple H says them, I never want to hear those words again.
Yeah, for real. But yeah, man, that was Stand and Deliver. Man, I was hoping for more, Tommy, when it comes to the biggest show of NXT of the year, but this is what we got. Let us know what you think. Leave a star rating, leave a review. Thank you for joining us. If you're new, check out Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We got a shit ton of episodes over there. Lots and lots and lots of content for you to binge listen to if you're at work, driving, or whatever. And let's get up out of here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was the April 4th review of NXT Stand and Deliver. You can catch us every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday for Raw, NXT, SmackDown, and you got that one-on-one between Snug here and Mr. Blood on TikTok Live as well. Also, here within the next couple of weeks, in 2 weeks from now, we will have the review for good old WrestleMania Night 1. We'll have the predictions the Wednesday before that. So, get your merch as well. That is at tpublic.com/snug_wrestling. I repeat, that is TEE public.com/snug_wrestling. So, that was one time. For the one time, that was 4 letters. 1 word. Yeet.